to the pop culture cosmos.
And we're back. Sometimes this technology just gets me going here. I don't know. Sometimes I swear.
Never count on it, man.
Exactly. With the pop culture cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the pop culture cosmos. Inside sports, fantasy football, and the Lakers fast break. Truly appreciate you joining us. But it wouldn't be a pop culture cosmos without my good friend. Please go ahead and support all he's doing today at the Super BS Games Cast, along with myself and Brank, and hopefully others as well. Plus, also as well, don't forget he is the man behind the Happy Hoarder. So go ahead and support the Happy Hoarder today on, of course, social media. And if he's in your neck of the woods, please go ahead and buy some good stuff, good collectibles today at the Happy Hoarder. Humanican Media's own Josh Peterson. What's up, man?
What's up? It's this is it, man. The school year is over. My teaching duties are done for at least 2 months, and I was ready for it. I'm ready to not do that for a couple months, you know?
Exactly. I can't say I blame you. I know both my daughters are out of school. They're enjoying it now. I just told you that they're on the strip now shopping, going from the fashion show to the Caesars, trying to find some sort of deal if there is any out there. So yeah, it's just Memorial Day weekend here in the States. If you're listening around the world, we celebrate it every year. So hopefully you are having a great weekend as well. But there's much to talk about because the Memorial Day weekend is the first really big weekend, really big weekend as far as the summer box office season that we've seen. Unfortunately, the Thunderbolts didn't quite do it, but Lilo and Stitch did. So Disney is happy this weekend. We'll go ahead and talk about that. Plus, I have a review of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. So we'll go ahead and talk about that. I got a chance to see it, plus the future of MI. And then last, but certainly not least, on the backside of the show, we were going to go ahead and talk about Marvel, some major delays for the film. 2 films, actually. Actually, they threw a lot around. I'll try to sort a little bit of it out, especially when it concerns Marvel and some of the stuff that they are moving around, some of the stuff that they might have canceled. Just a whole bunch of things going on in the movie world. We're not even talking about Cannes. Cannes Film Festival, you know, they went to go ahead and they saluted some of the best that were there at that film festival. A lot of stuff going on there. Could be some future Oscar contenders there. So yeah, much going on this weekend. So hopefully you're having a good one as well. But yes, we're covering it all right here for you today on the Pop Culture Cosmos. Josh, you and I had this conversation in regards to the upcoming Memorial Day weekend. I know TJ Johnson and I as well. Lilo and Stitch, buddy. Lilo and Stitch. The Disney. You know what? I just think Disney is just going to keep on throwing live action remakes. And it's just when one sticks, there you go. And finally, one stuck is after the disaster of Snow White. Lilo and Stitch is heading to around $180 million this weekend. For the 4-day weekend, it could look to close to $200 million domestically and well over $400 million worldwide. Disney, which kind of got off this year on the wrong track with Lilo and Stitch, and all it takes, we've seen this over the course of the years we've been doing this, all it takes is one film, Josh, to get things back on track for a company, and it did this weekend for Disney.
So what is I have not paid attention to anything regarding Lilo and Stitch. Like I like Lilo and Stitch. I like that. I like the original movie. I know I like the property. Well, there's some sort of controversy going on with this movie. What do you know anything about that? I have no idea. I just saw grazed headlines.
The only controversy I am aware of when it regards to the fact that just fact that it came out at a time where after the bad word was for Snow White, this movie was actually going to go straight to Disney Plus at one time. It was earmarked for Disney Plus, but I guess the big wigs of Disney relented. This was a smart one. They should have done a reverse. They should have sent Snow White straight to Disney Plus and just sent this one and had this one do what this one did. Because it looks like right now it's going to get probably about what I'm sorry, I said earlier 400, but about 183 million over the 4 days and 350 million worldwide. So that's still nothing to sneeze at. I'm telling you right now, the controversy that I'm not aware of any, but I'm going to go ahead and look it up. I do know this is sweet revenge for Lilo and Stitch because 20 some odd years ago, my friend, Lilo and Stitch, the animated movie, came out and it lost out to number one by under $1 million to Tom Cruise and Minority Report. So revenge indeed. So I'm going to go ahead and look it up. These Lilo and Stitch controversies. I know that they did not include one of the characters in it. So what? And the director said that one of the characters in the animated movie that wasn't in the live action movie was not needed. So maybe that is sparking interest, but I think that's why it's the usual issue: casting choices and character changes.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, all right.
Okay, now it's getting old as far as is the individual have the right background or it's
you're not gonna please everybody.
No. Is it representing the right group? Is it not representing the right group enough? It's just come to a point where that's the controversy, my friend. I think we should,
man.
Yeah. So doesn't seem to be bothering anybody, my friend, enough to not go to the theaters because, again, a huge opening for Disney. This film, from what I've seen, the clips and the reviews, I believe that this movie was earmarked for Disney Plus because it looks very rudimentary. It doesn't, if you and I were to go see it, we'd probably just by halfway through would probably just be rolling our eyes because this is not going to be true cinematic fare, but it's not intended for you and I. Now I'm aging you, and I'm sorry, my friend.
Oh, you're good, man. So it's funny. One of
this is for Gen Z and also very young audiences because the Gen Z grew up with this when they were kid 20 years ago.
You know what? It passed Snow White in box office, so I think that it's a victory no matter how you look at it.
In
right?
3 days.
Yeah. It's funny. The hottest selling Disney Funko Pop is actually Stitch in literally any variation of the character. So it is a very well liked property. So I mean, especially releasing it now. I mean, we don't know what those numbers are going to look like after tomorrow and moving into the summer. So I could see Lilo and Stitch doing over 500 million.
Yeah, it's going to do over $500 million worldwide by this time next week. It's already at 350. So I'm guessing this is probably going to generate close to 800 million would be my guess. We'll see if it goes up even higher. You did mention your movie that you picked, and I know Brank is really just on your case about it, in Minecraft, and that has been the biggest success, one of the biggest success stories of the box office season this year. It hasn't died enough to where it's totally out of the range for $1 billion. But
it's still doing over $500 million a day, though. I mean, that's insane.
I mean, $500,000 a day.
$500,000. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. Wrong numbers.
Yes. Because right now, is at $940,000, 940 million. See, you're going too high. I'm going too low. $940 million worldwide. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to have enough steam. I think it might get to
So
970.
close, bro. Just use that $60 million and it'll get there.
I
Well,
don't
it's
know if
also
Warner Brothers can wring out enough, man. I don't know if they can wring out enough.
it's on demand already. So I mean you
Yeah.
can rent it on Prime or whatever. So so I mean, and we'll see too, like what what those numbers boost into that. I mean, they're not going to show it on Box Office Mojo, but I mean, we'll see what those numbers add on to that in the end. But I mean, somehow, some way, the movie will make over $1 billion. It probably already has with all the merchandise and stuff. So,
Oh yeah, no, yeah. The merchandising alone has probably put it, the increase with Minecraft or increased interest in the game, people spending money on it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is probably, you're probably talking around in the excess of $1.5 billion or
yeah.
$2 billion generated since the movie opened. That is not in question. But yeah, getting the movie itself over $1 billion at the theaters,
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
man, it's so
I'm
close.
gonna
So
say
close.
Brank is gonna have the last laugh, but just short, my friend. Just short.
It's so close.
So close indeed. But big shout out to you because you called it right there. So
I
right out of
believed in
billion,
it, man. I championed it.
you were right there on the get-go of it. I will say though, that this weekend, again, when it comes to what we're seeing at the box office, a big win for Disney. That means these live action remakes are going to continue coming. I see Moana, that live action remake with The Rock, that comes out. That I think will do big money. I know there's going to be more live action remakes on the way. I know Disney. It takes a lot for Disney to learn its lesson. I know
Okay.
you and I are probably tired of these live action remakes from them.
Right.
But the thing is, now you've got DreamWorks doing the same thing with How to Train Your Dragon. That's coming out as a live action remake. It's just, again, there's enough successes to keep this going, even though I think you and I are probably saying I think we've seen enough.
Okay, hear me out here though, all right?
I'm going to try.
Disney has 2 movies that are prime content for live action remakes. The ones that they turn their backs on in the early or in the late 90s, right? They have Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and they have Treasure Planet. Those are 2 movies that could be just the most fantastic live action remakes that Disney has ever had the opportunity to remake. They just got to do it, man. They got to pull that trigger and make it happen.
Let's hope they do. I would like to see a Treasure Planet being revived in some sort of fashion. That one I have seen in recent years, and I did enjoy it. So I'm hoping that will get some kind of love from Disney. We'll see what Tron does. The Tron area, see if that. I know that's not a live action remake, but I want to see if they have continued love for that. I kind of put that in a weird spot in October, but we'll see what happens there. But Disney finally getting off the schneid, as they would say, with a big success story in Lilo Stitch this year, and then also continuing the success for Sinners. Warner Brothers is reaping the success for that. That is still in the top 5. Thunderbolts is still in the top 5, and then of course also as well, Minecraft movie that's still doing well as well. So if you have thoughts on the box office, we would love to hear your thoughts. The Memorial Day weekend, did you go out and see a movie like I did, which will come up next here? Please let us know. Please let us know exactly if you went to go see a movie, if you liked it, you didn't like it, what were the crowds like? We want to hear it all as far as your time at the Memorial Day weekend. Please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com.
So
my friend.
hold on. I know what we're gonna talk about both of these things later in the show, but
Because I'm leaving Mission Impossible in its own section. But go
yeah,
ahead,
Mission
my friend.
Impossible and Thunderbolts. I do want to talk about both of
Well, let's
those.
talk about okay. We can talk about Thunderbolts in the back end too. What? But anything specific on that right now?
No, well, I mean, I want to talk about the box office numbers later, so stay tuned because I do want to bring this up.
Okay, fair enough. Because Thunderbolts is going to lead us in our discussion in regards to the Marvel delays which just happened, and then of course Mission Impossible, which we're going to talk about here next. So yes, if you have any questions or comments or thoughts on the Memorial Day weekend, as far as how it went for you at the movie theaters, please let us know your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, there's so much more to discuss here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. It is Josh Gray Peterson along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Big shout out to all of our radio stations around the world who, even after all these years, still play our radio show. Plus, also everybody who has been a long-time listener and even a new listener as well. I want to thank you so much. If you're watching or listening on Apple Podcasts or also as well YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or Spotify, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Please like and subscribe. Come at you twice a week, right there for you, wherever you get your podcasts. Josh, I did see it. Mission Impossible, the final. Boy, they got to put that in quotations. The final reckoning. The final reckoning. So I know you haven't seen it yet, but I know you want to. So what would your anticipation, and I'll just kind of, I won't say you're right or wrong, but I'll kind of what were your anticipations, your basic structure of what this MI final reckoning would be, your expectations for it going in?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. Like, I like the Mission Impossible movies, but they are the same things over and over again. I understand why Tom Cruise wants to do like bigger and bigger stunts, but the movies have always been, they're getting sort of boring. So did not have high expectations for it. It was just one of those things, like when it comes out, I was like, oh, I'll check it out and put a close the book, so to speak. But I honestly did not have high expectations for this movie. But you saw it though, so I want to know, am I wrong in thinking this?
I'm gonna say I did see it, and I'm going to preface it by saying that at this point I have enjoyed all of the Mission Impossibles. One day I hopefully will get the chance to rate out all the Mission Impossible movies in order, in the order that I like them and prefer them. I will preface this by saying I can watch any of the Mission Impossible movies and rewatch them. They're all rewatchable to me. They're all enjoyable enough to where I can rewatch them. I have varying levels of enjoyment with them, but I do have enjoyment with them. I'm going to say that this movie is going to be probably on the little bit of the lower side of the Mission Impossibles, but it is still I still give it a positive review. I wish it was a little shorter, if it would have been about 15 to 20 minutes shorter, I think it would have been better for this movie. I think they tried to beat you over the head with all the callbacks to previous films. There is one callback that is a home run. That was an absolute, you didn't see it coming. Very well done. Absolutely fantastic callback. One of the best callbacks I've ever seen and way is utilized.
Did they reference Limp Bizkit in the soundtrack of Mission Impossible 2? Is that it?
Not quite. No. By the way, I am higher on Mission Impossible 2 than virtually anyone else on the planet. But I just want to say,
I thought it was all right. That was like one of the first DVDs I ever saw.
But you're going to see it at the bottom of every list because they don't like nobody likes the over the topness of John Woo, and I loved it. I absolutely I love it. It is so corny, It is so hammy. The villain is almost twirling his mustache the entire time. Um,
Product of the time, man.
the whole premise and all that. I loved it. I just thought it was so over the top. I love the look. It was so stylized. It just I miss the fact that I know Christopher McQuarrie is a great director, but I miss the fact that a new director would bring his vision. So each Mission Impossible would have a different look for every film. I miss that. I miss those times where it would had a different look each and every time, a different way of shooting the movies, from one way to another, to another, to another director. So I miss those days. But the final reckoning is JSJ says that he thinks it's so good. I'm going to say it's good. I'm not going to say it's so good. I would cut about 15 to 20 minutes of it. There's a scene in the middle. I would have definitely chopped it in half because it takes too much extended time. When my wife is playing the Pikmin Go or whatever it is that she's playing, in the middle of the theater. I know she had shame on her. She had the phone in, but when the scene is so long, she's playing Pikmin Go during it. That tells you right away, maybe that scene is too long. And then again, they beat you overhead with callbacks. One callback I told you was the greatest callback. One of the greatest callbacks I've ever seen in my entire life. One of the greatest callbacks. And then there was also one of the lamest that was so unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary. I don't know why it was actually even in there. So,
where's okay on a number scale, though?
I'm going to say it's about a 7.
Okay. I mean, so that's not bad.
7. Yeah, I'm going to put it at a very light 7.
It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. I mean,
yes.
It's a pop flick then.
I'd probably put it 6th or 7th on the 8 different MIs.
Okay.
It's not the worst, but then even the worst I'll watch all the time. Because I Mission Impossible 3 for me, the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman, he was great in the film, but I just think the movie itself was very flawed.
Gosh, that's actually my favorite, my top 3. Like, I love Mission Impossible 3.
For me, I know that's the J.J. Abrams one that people either love or hate. I don't hate it. I'll watch it again anytime. I told you I've watched that one 2 or 3 times, but it just doesn't move well for me enough on that one. But pacing aside, I think that this one again, it beats you over the head with the callbacks for previous films, although it didn't try hard at all to call back to number 2. Spoiler alert there. I think they wanted to try to just avoid the John Woo era right there. But outside of that, again, when they finally focus on what they're trying to do, attach itself. The last movie, I think, Dead Reckoning Part 1, which has been just changed to Dead Reckoning. I really think it's going to be an underrated movie in the series. I really like that movie. I think that's the better of the two if you try to connect it. The AI is obviously the entity, as it's called. That's no spoilers because it's from the last film. The villains are essentially the same from movie to movie. And again, it goes to a worldwide cataclysmic type deal, so nothing's changed here. But it's up to Ethan Hunt and his team to get it done, while still pissing off the U.S. government at the same time as only they can do. But yeah, overall, again, I think the movie itself is good. It's not great. I think again, just a lot of pacing issues and a little bit too much in the callback area. I think they wanted it. I think in the beginning they wanted to make this the reminder that this is going to be the final Mission Impossible, Josh. And in the end, by the end of it, they're thinking, well, maybe it's not the last one after all.
Okay.
So and I'm not going to say if it's whether or not Tom Cruise is alive or not. I'm just going to say it kind of left it open-ended.
I mean, he's not going to kill his character in the end of that movie. He's always going to leave that door open. The franchise itself has made over $6 billion in box office revenue. So, I mean, that in itself is pretty impressive. but I mean, you look at this. I'm granted we don't know what's going to make tomorrow. We look at the box office number here, $204 million. So do you? It seems to decrease a little bit with every movie
This is
that
the
comes out.
biggest. This is the biggest opening.
This is the biggest opening.
This is the biggest opening. So it is going to be about $80 million
Okay.
over the 4-day weekend, and then about close to $200 million worldwide for Dead Reckoning. So that is the largest so
Okay.
far in the series. So how it has legs, we'll have to see, because some of them have had legs up to $700-800 million as far as worldwide to take in the domestic at the
Yeah.
worldwide box office. So we'll see what the legs are at, but at least the start off is a slightly better than any other movie in the thing. I think that though we're hoping for $100 million domestic opening, Josh. So Paramount is kind of probably going to be at the end of the day a little bit disappointed, but $200 million worldwide to get it started. That is, I believe, one of the best, if not the best, for the series. But we'll see what happens. But again, they kind of left the door open. I'll leave it at that. So the rest of the half hour here, the rest of the 5 minutes, I want to ask you your thoughts on the future of MI. I said before going in when I was talking about it with TJ that I thought that Paramount cannot resist temptation, that even if Tom Cruise is dead,
Yeah.
or if he's not dead, or if he's half dead, or side dead, or disappeared, or whatever happens at the end of the movie, because I can't say anything at this point in time. They are going to go and dip into the toes in the water of Mission Impossible again at some point. Whether they reboot it like Jurassic Park Rebirth, they couldn't just Jurassic Park Rebirth. The fact that they are actually rebooting this, like what, just a short time after the Chris Pratt Jurassic Park movies is kind of, or Jurassic World movies is kind of just hilarious in and of itself. What is the future, in your opinion, of Mission Impossible?
So I think we're starting to get into James Bond is an anomaly, right? So James Bond is a franchise that's carried on since was it the 60s, right? Late 60s, Dr. No came out.
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic Park is one that is, it's pretty, it's marketed pretty heavily everywhere, merchandise, action figures, things like that. So I mean, there are rare exceptions where a franchise that started 20 plus years ago can still have legs, even 30, 40 years into it. But I mean, I think we're getting into that territory where people are going to look at something like Mission Impossible and be like, sorry, why am I going to go watch this movie? Like, what is it? Am I going to have to go and watch several hours of backstory to figure out what it is going forward? Or what exactly is it that's going to keep people who have not seen the movies before coming back to watch these new ones? I say the same thing with the Fast and the Furious movies, right? Like they're getting worse and worse with every one that comes out. I guess they're the last one or last two are supposed to be coming out soon, but that's another one where people are, it just doesn't have the power, the fan power that it did before. It's just people going in to finish the story. So after this one being the final reckoning, like, I guess I don't know what the future holds, because I sit there and wonder, like, what are you going to do? And we talk about this all the time with old franchises. What are you going to do to get new people in watching it, and not just the same people that have been following it since the start?
Absolutely. So I don't know. At this point, I think they do need to step away from it for a little bit, and then maybe reboot it. You can have Tom coming in as a mentor. Doesn't have to be forefront, but will he allow himself to do something like that? That's the question I have. Will he allow himself, or will he allow someone else to step in? I mean, ultimately, it's Paramount Pictures' decision to go ahead and do it. But I do not think Paramount Pictures will leave this alone, because the door at the end of this movie, whether or not Tom Cruise is actually alive or dead, or whether he's not, or whether he will mentor, whether you're not, the ghost of Tom Cruise, whether you're not, whether he's killed or he's not killed, that's still up for debate. Whether he's alive, whatnot. Yeah, I can't tell you for sure, but let's just say, one possibility, if you want to go ahead and make it as far as for a future, will it become, or is he going to be able to become a part of this going forward? I just think Paramount Pictures will not let this die. It's
Yeah.
something they don't have outside of Sonic the Hedgehog. Name me 4 or 5 other IPs that they have that actually can garner over $500 million at the box office. And if the answer is you don't have that many, then there you go. Since they're obviously not greenlighting any Star Trek movies down the road. So
Well,
at this point, just they don't have many IPs that can earn them big money.
yeah.
So Mission Impossible is always going to be, unless they start putting Yellowstone movies out on in the theaters. I don't know if there's absolutely going to be any way they're going to avoid putting out some more Mission Impossibles.
It's funny too because you notice this with Universal's really bad at this. The movies that they know, it's their comfortable money makers, right? Their Jurassic Parks, their Fast and the Furious. I guarantee you that there have been talks about Back to the Future, right? They have all these franchises that they know are going to make a decent amount of money. So I feel like with Paramount, you're going to see that same thing with Mission Impossible, right? They're like, oh, this is a guaranteed money maker for us, and we're comfortable making these. We've got the budgets figured out after so many years of making these movies, so it only makes sense that we just keep making them. And that only works up until you run out of story to tell, or people get tired of the story you're trying to tell. So it is a double-edged sword. If they're going to keep making them, they have to keep finding a way to keep it fresh and keep it exciting. Otherwise, they're going to keep falling into those old patterns, and eventually people are going to stop watching them. So it's a double-edged sword, man. It's a tricky proposition to go into after saying that this was going to be the last one.
Absolutely. So we will see what happens, my friend. But it is Mission Impossible. The future Mission Impossible, whatever that may be, is going to be out there. So if you have thoughts on Mission Impossible, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. My friend, 1/2 hour down, 1/2 hour to go here on the Pop Culture Cosmos. It is Josh Peterson along with me, Charles Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Disney. Disney is coming off the success this weekend of Mission Impossible, but they prefaced it this past week with some movie delays. And unfortunately, the movie delays that they had, among many that they had as far as movies they moved around, were the Avengers movies, Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. They've been both moved back by 7 months. So Avengers Secret Wars is now in December 17, 2027. And of course, Avengers Doomsday, which is going to start that's going to be December 18th, 2026. Ironically, my friend, Dune Messiah is actually scheduled for that date. Hopefully some will tell Villeneuve, our one of our beloved directors, because
It'll get pushed back. I promise you that you'll get pushed back.
I could promise you that too. I would not take that bet, my friend. I'm already going to say that that's going to be either pushed up or pushed back. So when you first heard, or when I first texted you that news, my friend, what were your thoughts coming off the Thunderbolts, which Bob Iger said he was happy with the critical and audience response, not necessarily the dollars, but the critical and audience response because he thought that this was a step in the right direction to not just throw a ton of Marvel stuff out there, but to try to throw Marvel stuff out there that's more quality and a lot better for the audience.
Yes, I really, really liked the Thunderbolts. Like, I would go watch that movie again. I still have no desire to watch Captain America: Brave New World, but I was actually reading something that in Thunderbolts was supposed to be a very, very different movie, and it was supposed to have U.S. agent going, kind of becoming a Hulk, and I am so glad that they did not take that ride, because the movie that they made feels so personal, and it just feels so just well told and crafted, and the characters mesh so well. Like it's the perfect Marvel film. So I'm super impressed with this, and it's way outside the Marvel formula. It's like they I don't know, it's this movie, even if you took it out of the Marvel universe, like it would still be a fantastic film. So I am really hoping that there's a sign of things moving forward, the quality over quantity. Um, and I tell you, man, I am so excited to see this cast of characters in in the Doomsday movie.
Well, a lot of people are excited about Fantastic Four, the first steps, which
I
is coming
it,
out in July.
yeah, that I mean, and that they tied that in the end credits. They showed the Fantastic Four ship zooming through the atmosphere. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what.
Spoilers to people who haven't seen it yet.
Sorry, spoiling a month old movie now for you guys. Um, I have no idea what to expect from Fantastic Four, so I don't know I don't have any expectations right now. Like, I'm excited about it. I don't necessarily. I hope Pedro Pascal was a good Mr. Fantastic, but they're casting him in literally everything these days. So hopefully he holds the role up pretty well. But the trailers look cool, man, and it sounds like this is going to be like you call it like a linchpin, right? Like the thing that holds everything together moving forward. So it's got a lot riding on it. I really hope that it's good.
So funny because I'm at the theater yesterday and I saw Pedro Pascal on 3 different billboards. And not even the one he just came out at Cannes, Eddington. That's going to actually be released, I believe, in July, or is it June? That's based off of the COVID period. So that's not even counting that one. So is he the busiest guy on the planet? He might just be. Yeah. So I will say this though, that when it comes to Marvel, at this point, it's I just want to see them have a game plan and stick to it, because I'm worried that again, all this going back and forth, it's not going to make the storytelling cohesive. The next Marvel movie, not talking about the series, because I know Ironheart and some Daredevil may even come up beforehand, but now I know Ironheart's coming up next month and whatnot. Not talking about the TV series. The next Marvel movie that's scheduled out there is a 1 year and 1 week away after Fantastic Four, and that is Spider-Man, the latest Spider-Man 4, number 4. I said, I'm guessing, seeing that first week of May movie slot open, and don't tell me Devil Wears Prada 2 is going to do anything for you. I really think that Sony will be tempted to go ahead and move up that movie if they can. I really think they might. I really think they might, because they have now a year to play with that film. And July is still a good month for movies, but the problem is, what's the tail end of that movie? If you want Spider-Man to go ahead and have the kind of tail at the end of its lifespan in the theaters to be a good one, maybe you start it sooner. Maybe you start it in June. Maybe you start it all the way up in May to take the slot that was once occupied by Avengers Doomsday, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, that's could be a good idea. Also, like, I hear that Spider-Man's supposed to play a big part in Secret Wars, so maybe put it out after Doomsday. Like, I don't know how they're gonna bridge the two, but I mean, it seems like the closer, if Spider-Man is, because they haven't announced Spider-Man for Doomsday, so I'm assuming Secret War will be where we'll see Spider-Man, but they really need to whatever movie that he's going to end up being in, they need to set him up for that as close as possible to that movie releasing. Like, I think that would probably be like the smartest idea.
I think so too. I thought Tom Holland was already announced for
Was
Doomsday.
he?
I know they did a skit, him and a social media skit, him and Robert Downey Jr. already, where they were having a joke coming in and out of the men's room. So
yeah, well, same thing with Hawkeye. Like, they showed Robert Downey Jr. reading Jeremy Renner's book.
Yes, I saw that too. Yeah.
So it says he has not.
And Jeremy Renner has not been announced for Doomsday. and he recently turned down an offer to do a season 2 of Hawkeye because of contract issues. They were offering only half of what he did in season 1.
Yeah, you know what? I get like 75% maybe, but half seems kind of like an insult to me.
Yeah, it is. What I don't know how much they were going to utilize him or anything of that nature. So, as far as how much they were going to, were they going to pass it over to Kate Bishop? Is the key, or is it just going to be still he's the predominant individual that they're going to focus that season around? So they weren't. He was never clear on that. So you don't know exactly what went on. So it's to justify in Disney's mind why they would only earn him 50%. But yeah, that was interesting how he was reading his book. While he had the dots, for the going as far as the green screening and all that as Doomsday, because it's going to be a CG. The Doomsday outfit is going to be a CG type thing. So
Yeah.
interesting, very interesting. So the thing I ask you though is, when it comes to it, what do you see for Marvel now that this is happening? Do you see the delays as a good move or a bad one for audiences? Because I personally don't see it as a entirely bad move because they need momentum. And Thunderbolts, however good or bad you think the movie is, and most people think it's a good movie, it didn't give Disney and Marvel the momentum that they were hoping for.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I was hopeful that word of mouth, would really give this movie wheels, but also like people don't know who the Thunderbolts are. So it's unfortunate that a lot of the characters in that were, what am I trying to say? Like part of movies that came out during like COVID and shows that came out during COVID, like when people weren't really consuming the Marvel media as much. It was during the down years. So maybe just not as much interest in these characters, which is a real shame because I mean it would be, it'd be foolish for people not to watch this movie. But yeah, man, it's moving forward. Looking at it, I'm hoping that this will this is their chance, right? They're trying to regain. They got Robert Downey Jr. back. They're trying to regain that it's just that feeling of ecstasy, that you got from watching Endgame and Infinity War, and get that like hype going again. And they really got to not blow it though. Like, so hopefully Fantastic Four will just keep the momentum moving. And who knows if they're going to be announcing movies in between that, because I mean last time that we were getting was it Doctor Strange, right? Came out, was that Doctor Strange came out between? No, it did not
Yes.
between. Did it?
No. It was Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel, that's right. So I mean, who knows what we'll see, man. But I'm excited to see that Thor's gonna be playing a big role in Doomsday,
And
and
that benefited from it because you got to remember that one movie went over $1 billion at the box office.
yeah. So right, I have no idea what to think, man. Like I hope that it's good. Like right now my hype level is slowly rising after watching Thunderbolts. So going to Fantastic Four, it could get higher or lower, we'll see. But I am very interested in a lot of the rumors floating around. I'm hearing about what might transpire in these movies. So definitely, I'm on. If Fantastic Four is good, I'm on board for the rest of all the way through Secret Wars.
Okay. Well, of course, the Russos are back to direct the films, so we'll see how that progresses along. Of course, they are already filming and have been filming for a little while now. Uh, the principles for Avengers Doomsday. One assumes that they usually try to backpack them together when they go ahead and do both those Avengers movies. So maybe they will film both movies concurrently. But again, right now, end of December is the date for Doomsday, and as far as 2026 for that one, and then 2027 in December is for Secret Wars. So that's, for me, it's kind of disappointing because I was looking forward to. But again, I think Disney and Marvel will regain a lot of its momentum with Fantastic Four. And if that's the case, that's what's going to disappoint me. If Fantastic Four, the hype is there because I think a lot of people have gravitated towards the Fantastic Four movie of any of the three films that came out for Marvel this year. I think in doing so, if that generates a whole lot of buzz and if that generates a whole lot of success, Josh,
Yeah.
then you've got a problem because you want to go ahead and bottle up that momentum and keep it flowing. And unless Spider-Man comes out a little bit sooner than late July of next year, I don't know if they'll sustain it. And that's the problem going forward.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, right? Like you can't have Spider-Man come out and then wait a year afterwards to release, Doomsday or whatever. Like it has to be something that literally jumps right into the next movie, kind of like how Captain America jumped into Avengers, right? I think Avengers came out 6 months after Captain America did.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere
Okay.
there about.
Yeah. What you're saying, Thunderbolts came out after, no, Thunderbolts came out in May. Captain America came out in February.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the first Captain America movie. Like how soon after Avengers come out? I think it was like 6 months, if I remember.
Yeah, because the end credit scene sets up the Avengers in Captain America: First Avenger. That's right, where he's at the boxing gym, and Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury is supposed to be there, trying to get him to go ahead and become one of the Avengers. So it sets up the Avengers. So we'll see. And that's the problem when you moving all these movies around. Do you have the continuity in telling the story? So we'll see what happens with Spider-Man because it is always loosely tied into the MCU now in some form or fashion. So what story is it trying to tell, and how is it helping the broader picture forward? So I'm interested to see how it will line itself out. But again, it is of course Marvel, and they've delayed Avengers Doomsday to the end of 2026 and Avengers Secret War 2027. So we want to hear your thoughts. Are you having any issues like we are with Marvel's changing around the films? Please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, before we head on out, those delays and some cancellations of some films, they didn't specify which Marvel films have been given the axe, but there were movies, unspecified Marvel film in such and such date. They kind of, rubbed a couple of those out. I know Armor Wars was, we don't know what the status of that.
Was that
Blade
a movie or a show?
I thought it was once a movie. It became a show. Who knows what it is now? Who knows if it's even going through? Because Ironheart is the only one I know of that's actually done, ready to go, and ready to go on Disney Plus as it is next month. The Blade film, has been in development hell and then some. And I am still hoping for it, for one, because I still think Mahershala Ali.
What is the
should be
issue
given a
though?
chance.
Like, what is the problem? Like, Blade kills vampires. Like, that's literally all you have to do. I know the director of the first Blade movie stepped in and said, or he tweeted something, said, "Hey, I'm open for calls. Just pick up the phone." So I don't know, man. Like, it just doesn't doesn't seem that complicated to me to make this Blade movie. What is the holdup?
What is the holdup, indeed? So I don't know. It just, maybe it's the fact that what do you do to tie this into, or the Blade into the larger scope of the MCU? Are you interested in tying up the the Midnight Suns, that entity, and bringing them together, putting them and getting them involved as far as bringing that as far as the larger scope of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I don't know. It kind of just puzzles me. Such a good character. You have a 2-time Oscar Award winner that is asking you to play Blade, and you still can't do anything with it. It blows my mind that you have not been able to figure out. And yet here he is in Jurassic Park Rebirth, and they figure out a way to use him there, Josh. It absolutely makes no sense to me. Absolutely makes no sense. But again, it's this ever since Avengers Endgame, Marvel, I just don't know what direction they're going in. Whatever pixie dust Kevin Feige had in the 2010s, that pixie dust has been like blown away, and he can't find it now in this decade.
Yeah.
I kind of worry about Marvel. And I know a lot of people say, "Well, let's move on to something else." I'm tired of Marvel.
Well,
Okay,
I
what
think
what what are we going to go to next? Star Wars. Star Wars has been all over the place too.
Marvel is even worried about Marvel. I mean, look at this. They went and rehired the Russos. They rehired Robert Downey Jr. They're bringing all these heroes back from old, the days of old. I think that they're doing what the safe play. They're doing what they know is going to make money. Because I'm even hearing rumors that we're going to see uh characters from the old Fantastic Four movies make an appearance in the new one. So I think they're playing it safe. They're doing what they know is going to bring people into the theaters. But after this, what is left? What does the future of Marvel look like after they've played all these cards?
Yep, absolutely. So again, there's just still much to think about when it comes to Marvel. But if you have thoughts, please let us know on that. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Really looking forward to hearing your thoughts about Marvel. If you're tired of the Marvel universe, I mean, all these universes that we're in are kind of like long in the tooth. I mean, the DC universe, I know a lot of people are getting more amped up because they're liking what they're seeing from Superman. But yeah, I don't know, my friend. I don't know. Just I don't know what to think at this point in time. I think Superman, uh, is it's still something that is kind of a mystery on how will it do. I know there's a lot of box office hope from Warner Brothers on it. We'll see. With Marvel again, seeing how that will fit the out in the future going forward. We'll see. But yeah, the box office is very uncertain right now. I don't even know how the latest Avatar, The Way of Water, that's going to do. Star Wars next year on Memorial. This weekend, next year, we'll have The Mandalorian and Grogu. So
Yeah.
how is that going to do? I don't know. I honestly don't know. For the first time in the long time since we've been doing this, uh, strike the pandemic out of this, I honestly don't know how certain movies are going to do. I don't know if there's anything left in the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Jurassic Rebirth IP. I don't know how much gas is left in the tank on that one. I
Yeah.
honestly don't know how much is left in the DC universe, no matter how many times you reboot it. You're the DC guy. And, I like what I see from Superman. I am interested to see but I don't know how much left is in the tank for that one. So,
Yeah.
and first time in a long time we've been doing this, Josh. I don't know exactly what the health is for the box office going forward.
I mean, they've redone, rebooted, remade, remastered like all these characters, all these superhero characters, the Supermans, the Marvel stuff, like all of it has been done either for so long or so many times that we're just going to hit a point where people just don't care anymore. So,
Yes.
it's already showing in the way you look at Marvel movies, the box office decline is happening, right? The numbers are going down more and more with each Marvel movie. So, uh, unless there's some sort of like renaissance that happens, which I highly doubt there will be, we could very well be facing a future where the box office just doesn't mean anything anymore.
And the best things that are out there are put straight to streaming or shows straight to streaming because
Yeah.
I just see the quality of television, the quality of movies out there. What the best quality work in the medium is currently being done on streaming television. So we'll see. I mean, Andor, JSJ's talk about Star Wars Andor. Yeah, it's just Yeah, don't remind us of the Rise of Skywalker. That's something that's one of our best ads, by the way, is Josh forgetting about watching the Rise of Skywalker. What was it that a few months after you saw it? Oh yeah, I don't. That's a great ad that we have that I put on for our radio and audiences and our podcast audience that are out. That's one of our all-time good ones. I think that was me. Yeah, that we were laughing nonstop after you said that. Just, yeah, the Rise of yeah. Andor was great. So Star Wars hopefully back on track, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm still not all there on Star Wars because of the fact that Skeleton Crew was there, and they've had so many disappointments with Star Wars in recent note, but they did hit a home run with Andor. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, all these IPs of all these major uh, movies slash series are just when they're coming out on the theaters, I just don't know anymore. The only one I know I can count on is Dune. Is that really concerning to you? That the only IP that I can count on right now for being good, because Denis Villeneuve is going to take a book. He's already taken a book series or a book that nobody thought could really be made well into a movie, and he made it well into not one but two movies. So I have faith that he'll make Dune Messiah.
You know what's funny to me is that it did do good box office numbers, but about 70% of the people that came out of that movie, both of those movies, came out going, "What in the hell did I just watch?" Because it's one of those movies where you watch it, right? You think on it for a while, then you possibly go out and get the book, and then when it comes out, you watch it again, right? Because it takes so much. It's such like a mental what do you call it, like a mental triathlon watching that movie. So it's so weird because like I had students that walked out, or not walked out of the movie, but they came out when the credits rolled, and they would come to school and talk about it, and they'd be like, I still have no idea what happened in that movie. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like
I think part 1 and part 2 are masterpieces. They're some of the
yes,
best things I've seen this decade.
masterpieces, but they're so complicated. And I know we've talked about this before, but the average attention span of the modern film goer, like we're right on the edge of breaking free of what those movies are, right on the edge of breaking free of like what the modern moviegoer has the ability to comprehend. So it's like it's a very, very interesting line that they're straddling there.
And you wonder why Lilo and Stitch did 180 plus million at the box office.
Yeah. And this new Shrek movie, I guarantee you, is going to come out and do $1 billion, because like that's just where the intellect of the modern moviegoer is.
It's a shame because something as higher brow, I should say, sci-fi like Dune was really good, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing it, Dune Messiah, and seeing how that is going to take place, because that's going to have to be tweaked a lot from the book, from what I hear, as far as the way that is perceived, to make it more interesting and more palpable to a broader audience. So we'll see how that's done. But yeah, I am very worried right now for the future of cinema, because again, there going to be continued to be those event movies that you're going to see after Fantastic Four. I don't know what's going to be coming up. I know we're going to go see Tron in October just because it's Tron, you and I, but I don't know for the general public out there which movies they're going to gravitate to going forward, my friend. It really is going to be something that I am still at a still trying at a loss, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, most definitely.
So before we head on out, my friend, I know that we've got a Super BS Gamescast line this week. I also know that we've also got a State of Pro Wrestling I've got with John Orlando coming up in the middle of this week to go ahead and tape for the weekend for the PC Multiverse. But before we head on out, any pub for the Happy Hoarder or the Super BS Gamescast before we head on out?
Not exactly, man. I've been caught up in life lately, so I haven't had a chance to catch up on my own stuff. So hopefully, I'll have some updates about that stuff here soon. Yeah, sorry, I was just reading JSJ's comment about Marvel making a good choice delaying Doomsday and Secret Wars.
I'll say if Fantastic Four is a hit, then I'm not so sure it was a good idea. But you got to make sure the movie's ready first off. It's like GTA 6 wanted to be out this year, but if it wasn't going to be finished, then what are you going to do? You got to just bump it back, right?
Right.
But we'll have much to say about the video game world on the Super BS Games Cast. I threw some ideas to Josh, see if he likes it. I know there's going to be some news that we need to talk about and go over on this Memorial Day weekend. So hopefully we'll be able to talk about that sometime this week. But I'm looking forward to it. Josh, as always, it's been great having you aboard, my friend. Doing this so many years, so many weeks, so many episodes. But any last thoughts before we head on out?
No, man, I think we covered everything. But I am gonna go on a journey here. All right, before Doomsday comes out, I'm gonna go back and try to watch every single Marvel movie. All right, and that's a huge catalog now, especially considering the multiverse is open. So now I got to go back. I got to start with Blade, right? Blade and Blade 2, the original X-Men movies. Like I got to go. I'm going all the way through. I might skip. I'm probably going to skip the shows because it's a little too much time commitment for me. But I'm going to talk about that when it happens. All right.
My daughters are doing it as well this summer. But the thing is, Dad, we're going to skip the bad ones. That's quite a few,
man.
girls.
How about this? Okay, we're going to do this is a Marvel showdown. All right. A Marvel review showdown. All right. I'm gonna watch Blade this week, and you should watch Blade this week. All right, and we're gonna talk about all these movies as we lead up to Doomsday.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I already have a list, guys, of my MCU through all the different movies in the MCU. So if you want to go ahead and check it out, it's available right now at popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. But as Josh sees them, we'll talk about them right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. No, that's my daughters. They're not going to watch the bad ones. They're teenagers. They don't have the time. No, they only watch the good Marvel. Me, I've watched the good and the bad Marvel. I've already spent my time. I've already spent my time in the Marvel Cinematic Viewers. I've got Oblivion to go ahead and play instead.
Nice.
But yes, it is, of course, another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Cosmos.